Hey, what's up, phone lovers, and welcome to the Mobile Roar Podcast. I'm Joe Fiedler,
And I am Christopher Chavez.
and we are shorthanded once again because summer is an extremely busy time in tech.
Every week, man. Every week it's somebody.
Kevin, yeah, Kevin is on a train right now, heading to New York for Samsung Tab Up event, where they're going to show. What are they going to show? The
Tab
Galaxy Tab
on.
4 or something? Oh, what is it? Tab on? Sorry.
Tab S. It's their AMOLED tablets. Rumored. I guess they haven't really confirmed anything, even though they pretty much confirmed it in their teaser videos and stuff. But yeah,
So
AMOLED
yeah,
tablets. That should be interesting.
is it though? I mean.
I don't know why they
People
never did
care
it
that much about
before.
tablets anymore,
I
for
think
Android at least.
I think display-wise, that's like Samsung's big, like their huge draw is that on their phones and everything else, they have the literally the best displays on the market. And for them to, I don't know why or how it took them so long, but for them not to include it on their tablets was just like mind-blowing to me. It made absolutely no sense. But I guess now they're going to do it. They're going to go hard. It's not even just AMOLED. They're going to go what like 2K or something on all their displays and AMOLED, and it's gonna blow people's minds. Hopefully the performance isn't laggy like their other tablets, but I guess Kevin's gonna find out.
I guess so. Yeah, that event is like 7 o'clock tonight. So if you ain't got nothing going on, you can probably watch that. But
Do it.
anyway, we have some other stuff to get to this week. We're going to start things off. We'll stay in the Samsung camp with a device that has been leaked a lot this week. It is being called the Galaxy F now. It was previously called the Galaxy S5 Prime. It's basically a metal version of the S5 with a slightly bigger screen and much less bezel, which should make you happy, I'm sure, Chris.
The thing is that there's still a lot of bezel on the top and bottom, though. Like from the pictures, it's just a side bezel that is really small now. But I don't know what it is on
Even
like.
that has been trimmed a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they did. There's because it's slightly bigger, so the bezels are a little bit smaller, and it's the overall same size as the Galaxy S5. So slightly smaller bezels, which I like on the top and bottom, but it's the sides that now like it's I don't know. It's funny, but it's always something. But for me, I don't really like small side bezels because when you hold it, the fat of
Right.
my thumb will like press stuff and long press things, and I'm like I check my phone, I'm like holy crap, everything's moved around, or like I scrolled and picked up something and it's frustrating, but I guess you kind of have to change the way you hold your phone, maybe, or you just can't hold it a specific way. But can't really get a good grip on it. We'll see.
Yeah, and they're saying that this is going to have a quad HD display like the G3 did.
They're going hard.
Yeah, this. I mean, this is a really strange device because it's coming so soon. Well, I guess we don't know when it's going to be released, but we're hearing about it and seeing it in pictures, like in the flesh,
Yeah.
really soon after the GS5 launched.
I mean, like we've mentioned before in previous podcasts, but there's a lot of competition. Just a crazy. They're vicious over there in South Korea. LG and Samsung are always going hard, and typically LG with all their previous devices, they always launch their flagships at the end of the year, and they always trumped everything else that came out previously. With the G3, it was kind of like they threw everyone a curveball because even though there was rumors that it was going to release a little bit earlier than the end of the year expected timing, they came out. They're coming out right now in the summertime, and I feel like Samsung's answer to whatever LG was coming out was this Galaxy F, and they were planning on launching it later at the end of the year. But LG came out of nowhere and was just like, "Plada! We got our awesome specced out phone that we usually release at the end of the year. We got it now, and we're beating everybody in terms of specs. And haha, what are you gonna do about it?" And Samsung's like, "Crap, let's get this Galaxy F out, like stat." And I mean, that's what they're gonna do. I mean, there's really no word. There hasn't been rumors or tips or anything about it even launching outside of Korea. I assume they probably would, but I'm thinking like this is again just a competition between LG and Samsung, and it'll probably just stay out there for a while, a month or two or something, maybe before coming out here.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but it's just interesting. It's interesting the name Galaxy F. They're not calling it like the Galaxy S5 Prime or anything, even though it's
Yeah, I mean,
clearly the S5. It's the same style, same everything. Um, and they're trying to like I guess distance themselves from their flagship. Like, oh no, that's still the
It's
Galaxy
weird.
S5.
No, you keep cutting out.
No.
There you're back. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's supposed to be this premium device, and I don't know. It's just a letter, but F just does not sound premium to me for some reason.
Something got lost in the translation.
Yeah.
The F,
I don't know. Do you even believe that this thing's gonna be metal? Because have a feeling. I don't know. It looks like
they can
fake
do it.
brushed metal
It's
still.
it's like with LG. LG's everyone's was like, oh, it's the brushed, and I mean they're copying LG so bad. I wouldn't even call it that honestly. And the whole copying thing is kind of a stupid, like a moot point or whatever, a moot point. But it's like first HTC had the brushed aluminum on this year's device, which we were like, okay, cool. LG came out with their faux brushed aluminum, but it was plastic, metallic, and then now Samsung's coming out with theirs, which is again brushed aluminum, and they're even brushed the exact same. They're all brushed horizontally. They can't even like
Right.
brush it sideways or up and down vertically. It's always brushed the same way, and it's just funny. But um, I think that there are. I've read about it in previous articles too that they have like these insiders that are selling secrets. You know, Samsung selling them to LG's people, and vice versa. But so it's just funny when these phones come out and they're like so similar. Um,
Right.
and I don't think they're going to be using metal. I think it's still going to probably be some kind of plastic. It could be an aluminum. I don't know if you've visited eBay, but they have those aluminum Galaxy S5 back covers. They had them for the S3, S4, and I mean it would be pretty easy. But I think just the cost of materials is kind of what they will probably want to avoid. Samsung is big on their plastic, man. Let's put them on the
Yeah.
map.
I mean, I can see them doing exactly what LG did and plastic with this thin metal coating and call it metal.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, hey, even that would be an improvement. All right. So yeah, that's the Galaxy F. It's really hard not to say S. Galaxy
Galaxy
F.
is F5, F1. I wonder if there's going to be like an F2, Galaxy F3, Galaxy F. The
Uh,
premium.
so speaking of the LG G3, there was a couple of things about that this week. One of the things that I thought was really cool was there was I think who did the Phone Arena or someone, they do these battery life tests.
Yeah, and they get super technical with their stuff.
Yeah. But the G3 actually topped the chart, beat out the S5, the HTC One M8, and the G2 from last year. And I think you had mentioned that you were concerned about the Quad HD display ruining the great battery life that LG phones have had.
Yeah, I figured it would be about the same as the G2. I mean, the battery side, the capacity stayed pretty much the same as the G2, but yeah, apparently it's doing it's coming in strong, man. It beat last year's G2 somehow. I mean, I guess you can I don't even know what to attribute that to, but it's interesting, very interesting. 8 hours and 50 minutes, nine. What is that talk time? Let's see, what is it?
Well, that's their like special test that they do that's supposed to replicate everyday usage. I don't know what they actually do, but that's what they say.
That would be interesting. That would be cool if someone made a little app like that. It would like send like maybe 20 text messages, download a web page,
Watch a
play,
video on Netflix.
watch a single video, and then check it out. But yeah, it's topping all of them, and it's topping them by a pretty big margin. The Galaxy S5 was 8 hours and 20 minutes. G3 got 8 hours and 50 minutes, and it's about a half hour more. But again, these tests aren't like completely objective. Your mileage will vary, but
Yeah.
um, it's it's interesting. So I guess the battery life, the whole concern about battery life and the quad HD display, that was kind of the main I guess gripe a lot of people had with the phone. Every time I would see in the comments and stuff, people were like, I don't know about that quad HD. It's going to eat away that battery life. And apparently, no, it didn't really have much of an effect on it.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, every time there's a big spec bump like that, people seem to think it's going to affect battery life, and it never really has too much. I mean,
Yeah, I
people
think
said the same thing when it went from up to 720, when it went up to 1080. I mean,
every single year, yeah, you have someone complaining that the pushing more pixels is going to impact that, but apparently it doesn't really. I guess it doesn't affect it as much as we think it does. Possibly with gaming, I guess that's a whole other issue, but it just comes to rendering, menus on your screen and scrolling through Twitter. It doesn't really do much at all. Yeah, we're
but
gonna
then you want to talk about the other bit of LGG3 news?
Oh yeah, so we don't really have a launch date for the US yet on the LG G3. It's kind of been kept under wraps. It's really odd actually because the phone is gearing up to release so quickly, um, and there still hasn't all the carriers came out and they said yes we're going to carry it, we're going to we love the LG G3, it's going to be on our network, but no one actually announced a launch date. But EVLeaks caught a glimpse of a screenshot from a Verizon computer and it shows July 17th launch date, and then pre-orders taking place on July 10th. So it's not anywhere near final or set in stone, but it looks like that could be the launch date for Verizon. We don't know, the carriers, they always launch at different times, so we're not sure if someone else will launch before then or after, but just expect a general mid-July launch date for the G3 across carriers, and we'll see. Some people in the comments of that post also noticed that some of the contests for the LG G3, they had the end date for a lot of these contests was on like the July 19th and July 20th and stuff. So mid to late launch for the LG G3 here in the US. Yeah, so if you're planning on picking up a phone, just wait a few more weeks, I guess, if you're looking forward for that G3. I'm not completely sold on it, but I guess this would be a good time to talk about that. I was having a conversation with my friends over the weekend. I went to E3 and met up with some Android peeps and stuff. And the G3, I'm just not completely sold on. The specs are pretty awesome on it, but I was talking to some of my friends and stuff, and just I guess you got to kind of look outside of the specs and just realize what LG has done with the previous. I think we talked about this in the podcast before, but just with like the software support and stuff, it's just not good. Like the updates, and they don't have where like Motorola and HTC kind of modularize their apps and they have them in the Google Play Store. And we just saw like an update recently with the the Gallery app for the HTC One M8. You get these cool little features, and there's always something to look forward to. And I think that's awesome. Like as an M8 owner, I'm looking at my phone and I see some news about it. I'm like, oh, cool. Did I get a new feature? Did they update Blink Feed? Did they update this? Did they update that? There's all these things outside of just your Android firmware updates, where LG is still kind of stuck in the past. They're kind of going with the Samsung route. And they're not thinking about those things. It's just you have to look forward to, even with the LG software specifically, you're not going to find a software update for LG's whatever UI out of nowhere. You're going to have to wait until some sort of firmware update, and then it's probably going to hit their flagship, and then like the LG G2 or the Optimus G and all these other phones. Those are just kind of an afterthought with LG. Typically, this is what we've seen. So I've kind of just sworn off LG phones at this point, and I'm just like I'm not even going to bother. So like for me, my big the phones I try to recommend towards people is Motorola or HTC, and it's kind of just like this epiphany I had. I was kind of like everyone else, just looking at the specs. Oh my gosh, the LG G3, the specs, the camera, all this stuff is so epically awesome. But a few months down the line, you're going to start feeling left behind when you see all these other phones continually evolving and getting better and getting all these cool little app updates where your phone is completely the same. Whatever bug you had when it launched, it's probably the bug you're going to have for a very long time, depending on your carrier. So, no, for me, no LG G3. I don't care how nice it looks. I don't care how perfect those bezels are.
You don't care what Edgar says?
I don't care what Edgar says. Did Edgar even say anything about the G3? I know he has the 1M8 right now, but
yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it.
He
used to be that big old LG fanboy, but now he's got the M8.
He loved that knock on. That was his big thing. Was like, man, the knock on. But we kind of saw that feature come to like a bunch of other phones lately, so not really that big a deal.
Man, I would die for that to be on my Nexus 5. Oh.
I mean, did you see there was some stuff that we posted earlier in the week? I guess there's a lot of root apps and stuff. I think you're rooted, right? Did you ever root your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have root apps that allow you to do the knock-on stuff. So you
Eh,
should check it out
they
and see.
don't. I think
I don't know.
they just eat up your battery because they're not really.
Yeah, they're not really
Really
using
want that
these.
to be truly like it is. It has to be built into the oh
Check it
God, look
out
who just
though.
commented.
Like-
Edgar Cervantes.
Yeah.
He says, of course he does. He likes the LG G3. All right, well, that's good to know.
But is he gonna get it? Is he gonna? I remember him saying that he was thinking about taking back his 1M8 for it or something. That's the real question.
Yeah,
Of course you
got to
can.
get that LG money coming back in. Uh, all right, let's move on to something very interesting that I wrote about this morning. I was writing news this week, so no cool editorials. But anyway, quantum paper, which is not actually a James Bond movie. It's this weird thing that Google is allegedly doing. They're going to unify the user interface and experience on their apps across all platforms. So we're talking Android, on the web, iOS, and some of this look has leaked through to the Google Plus app already, and I think we talked about that a little bit on the show. So they've got like these new colorful. Uh,
Crayola. Crayola bars.
what do you call that bar across Android apps? I'm totally blanking. The top bar, the action bar.
Yeah, the action
Yeah,
bar.
yeah. Okay, so they got these new colorful action bars and like new buttons that you see. Like in the Google Plus app, there's that little plus button that floats in the bottom corner, and that's like an add new content button. And this is all going to be coming to basically all Google apps. You can see this. There's a leaked Gmail web version. Did you see that? And it looks
Yeah.
like an Android app stretched
Yep.
out for a monitor.
It looks weird. All this empty white space on the sides and all that,
I
but
mean, I'm kind of conflicted on it. I think it
I
looks
don't
okay.
I don't like it at all.
You don't like it at all?
I mean, I want to like it, and there's of course anytime there's new changes, everyone just jumps on it. Oh, this is awesome! This is great, like Google fanboys. But I don't like it. I think it looks kind of silly, and the colors are. I mean, I guess that's Google's thing. Their colors, their colored
Right.
logo or whatever. But um, I don't know. I don't like where it's headed. I kind of like that whole slide out bar thing on the sides, and now I guess they're killing off the hamburger thing, and they're just
Well,
using
in
this
this
little.
updated Gmail app, it still has that.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. But
But yeah, you're right. Like the Google Plus app right now
they
doesn't
killed
have
it
that.
off, and it doesn't make any sense. So like, I feel like they're trying to imitate, or just combine their looks or whatever and unify them across services, which is kind of neat. It's cool if you're using something on the web and it looks just like your Android app. That's cool, but I don't know. I don't like the look. I don't feel like it looks very professional or cool. And not to sound like an HTC fanboy, even though I probably am at this point. I like what like kind of HTC's done with their UI. It's like their font is awesome. They use dark colors, and everything is very modern and just professional looking. Google's is all colorful and crazy, and like Crayola reminds me of like a Nabu, those Nabu tablets or something. This doesn't really
I
belong.
don't. I don't know. I don't really agree with you on that. It is colorful, but it's colorful in a good way to me. It's not. I don't know. I don't find it obtrusively colorful. Um, my issue with it really is, I mean, I think it's a good idea to have, for Google at least, I think it's a good idea for, like, say, their Gmail app to look the same on Android, iOS, and on the web. But another part of this quantum paper thing is that they're going to be kind of opening these, like the new buttons and things like that, to developers and urging them to put them in their own apps to unify the look. And I don't want all apps to start looking the same.
Yeah, I mean
I already kind of
they've done
that
this
already
forever.
annoys me a little bit. Everyone talks about the YOLO, Holo, or Holo, or
Oh
whatever on
my
Android,
God.
and that that actually annoys me a little bit that so many apps look almost exactly the same except for different colors. I mean, there's no uniqueness, there's no creativity.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, thinking back, like I've downloaded so many apps in my phone, and when I try to think back, like what was that app I used that looked like, and in my head I'm picturing what it looked like, and I'm like, crap, it looked like just like every other app, and there's no way I'm going to be able to figure it out just by my brain, you know. If it had its own look, I could say, oh, it looked like this, and it was this one way, and then it would start, you know, pulling up the name of the app in my head and my memory, and I'd be okay. It has its own identity, but now, yeah, they're just kind of with the Holo YOLO thing. I liked the Holo look and all that, the minimal and all that was cool, but the apps that did use it, a lot of them just looked so much like all the other ones. It was kind of dumb, and I really don't like. Just looking at the Google Plus app, it just bothers me. Um, it bothers me a lot. I
The
don't.
sad thing, I think, whenever you do see an app that tries to do something different and not follow the Hollow UI, people are always like saying it's just looks like an iOS app or it's an iOS port or blah blah blah. It's like, why do we want all the apps to look exactly the same? I just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a new contact dialer app or something. It's called Ready. I think it's in beta right now, but it uses a lot of those that glass transparency that we saw like on Windows Vista back in the day, but now it's like iOS now, I guess everyone's calling it. So
Yeah, well,
just
Mac.
seeing that now, everyone's just, oh, this looks like iOS. I don't like it. I don't like it, and it's frustrating because I'm like, man, it looks to me it looks gorgeous. I like when apps use their own little design language and stuff. I don't really it doesn't bother me too much. Not like most.
Speaking of apps, Amazon Prime Music just was released
Oh
today.
yeah.
You're a Prime subscriber, right?
Heck yes, I
All
am.
right.
So I was excited at the news until I actually went
Yeah,
onto
same
Amazon
here.
Music and was like, I cannot stream anything. There's nothing available for freaking streaming.
Yeah,
Like,
literally everything I searched for could not find for
yeah,
Prime.
I actually had that as my fail, but I guess we're talking about it now, so I'll take that off. But it was annoying. There was like I searched up like Grimes, like another band I like, Disclosure. Nothing. They didn't even have that artist Disclosure at all, and they have like the #1 song in the country right now. They don't even have them anywhere on there, available for download or streaming. And then Grimes, they had like one of her albums that you could stream or add to your streaming library, and all of her other albums, the ones that I actually like, none of them, you have to buy them, and it was just like, what are you doing, man? So
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
did a search for the old band Kiss.
Yeah,
I did a search for them, which you would think, okay, it's like a classic rock band. They're pretty old, whatever.
yeah,
Didn't even
compilation
have
album.
them.
Like you couldn't find them, or they just didn't have them for
They
streaming.
didn't have them at
Like they're
all.
just completely absent from Amazon
Like
Music.
I searched for like their popular song, "Rock and Roll All Night." Didn't have that. They had like 15 covers of that song, but not from Kiss.
Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, man, what are
And
they
I
doing?
searched for "Turn Down for What."
Oh
You
gosh.
you know that song, right?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. They didn't have
Music,
that.
music
I mean,
videos
they
awesome.
had it, but not for Prime. Um, yeah, because I guess they said Universal Music, or what is it called here? Yeah, Universal Music is not included right now, and that's like
A
a
huge
big,
chunk.
yeah, yeah. But it is over 1 million songs, they say. It just might not be the million songs that you
That
want.
you want at all. There's Barbara Streisand. They have a huge list, and it's kind of funny because they actually added the list to their press release, and it's like, oh, this is impressive. It's pretty much got everyone I think I would like. But when it comes down to it, and you're like, I want to listen to blank, you're gonna look it up, and it's not gonna be there.
Yep.
But they said more are coming all the time, and all this other stuff. But I mean, I guess we'll have to see. All they have to do is just, yeah, like you said, like just get some of these big music companies like Universal, whatever, and then that whole library is going to open up. And I don't imagine, I can't see why they wouldn't be able to nab these. I mean, most of these are like on Google Play Music, they're on Spotify, they're on radio, they're on all these other services. So I would assume that they would eventually come to Amazon Music. But when I first read that headline, I was like, oh, game over, it's done. Like Amazon Music's got this huge library, you're gonna
Yeah,
stream it. Like everyone else, you're screwed. You guys are so screwed. And then I go on and just, oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. This is
it is
so
weird that they would release something that is not awesome.
handicapped, man. It's just
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. But well, maybe it'll get better. I'll revisit again later. I mean, I got a Prime membership, so it's pretty neat
Uh,
already. Oh, and another benefit is that on Prime you can add 5 people to your Prime account. So that's kind of a cool way. If you have like your family
right.
or your household or whatever, you can add them to your Prime account and they could be able to stream some of this music, which I thought was cool because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get me and my girlfriend on there, add my little cousin, whatever. It's gonna be done. Like this is gonna be great. But again, no music to stream. So
We got another comment from Edgar. He says, "How much have you guys been suffering due to the Feedly outage? I am going nuts over here."
oh gosh.
Yes. If you use Feedly these last 2 days, you know how frustrating it's been. They got a DDoS attack, and yeah, it's been pretty
Oh
annoying.
gosh. Why
They
would they
were
attack
out
them?
like
It's
all
just
day. Yes, what was that?
why would they attack them? Isn't this typically like they go after these big bad companies and all this
I
stuff?
have no idea. I really don't know. It just seems
So
completely
annoying.
random to me. But I
Yeah.
mean, they were out all day yesterday, and I started today and it was working fine, and then all of a sudden they got hit again. So it's currently down right now.
I wonder how this is going to affect just our site traffic and like if we're going to see these 2 days, everything's just going to like because
That's a
remember
good point.
there was a big exodus like once Google the whole Google Reader thing started shutting down, everyone was just like, "Do you know where
Oh
to go?
yeah.
We didn't know where to go." And then Feedly came out of everywhere and was like, "Come to me, my children.
Yeah,
I will
Feedly
accept
is
you with open arms."
dominating right now, I'm sure.
Yeah, so that sucks. That sucks for them. It sucks for them, and it sucks for all the sites that a lot of people that visit sites through their Feedly stuff. But for us, I mean, that's where we get a lot of our news. And
And all the apps that rely on Feedly, like
oh
all the
yeah,
RSS readers apps, they're probably getting tons of complaints right now. Why isn't your app working? Yeah.
that's just horrible, horrible.
Major first world problems going on right now, guys. Struggle. The
Just got
struggle.
to visit the site and press refresh every hour.
All right, moving on. LG G Watch full specs leaked this week, and it's not that great, I guess. The
I think
big
it's,
thing is
it's
the
a
battery
smartwatch.
life. 400 milliamp hour battery, which is 36 hours in like idle standby time. So in actual usage, you're gonna have to charge this thing every night, pretty much.
At the end of the day, I would say, I mean, 36-hour standby, and pretty much, I mean, it's standing by all the time. And what was it? LG said something about the always on display. So
Right.
standby, always on display, 36 hours. That's pretty good. And I'm really not going to be doing much on it, but just looking at it and tapping it to check out a notification, maybe checking the time. So it's not like you're going to be web browsing or playing Angry Birds on it.
Well, I think that's a big question. Is what are people going to actually be able to do on these things? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, Google said initially it's just to quickly bring you notifications and whatnot. But seeing how Android's notifications are so robust now, you have media controls that show up on your notifications. So they showed some Chromecast media controls. You can skip ahead, pause something. Home automation stuff, turn on your lights using one of those things. Small things like that. But again, it's just very low CPU usage stuff, nothing really too crazy. So I mean, I think the battery life will be good. LG mentioned that it'll last you through the whole day and it's always on and you're not gonna have to charge all the time. But I think just being able to charge, take you through an entire day, and just being able to charge at the end of your day and still have battery life left over, that should be more than enough. I wouldn't mind that so much, but 2 days would have been nice. 48 hours would have been great. I don't have to charge it every couple of days. I mean, my Pebble, if I leave my Pebble alone, that thing will be on for an entire week, just showing the time, always on display, showing the time for a full week. I don't have to worry about it, but yeah, I don't know, that's gonna be kind of weird. We'll see.
So going back to this Feedly thing real quick, Edgar just told me that the attackers are actually extorting them and they want money.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the great way.
So,
A great way to get caught is when you're like, it's one thing just to like do some sort of vandalism or whatever like they're doing now, but to actually ask for some kind of money exchange, these fools are gonna get themselves let themselves in jail. Like, come on,
yeah, that's that's pretty crazy, actually.
money can be tracked, man. This isn't like the 1900s or whatever. This is like modern day. It's all traceable.
So the other bit of news, the G Watch was mentioned quite a bit this week, actually. One rumor says it's going to be given away at Google I/O to everybody in attendance, which isn't that far of a reach. I think that's pretty reasonable. I think they will do that.
For sure, for sure.
Um, but the other thing that's crazy, this leak said that it's going to be priced less than the Gear 2 Neo and Pebble Steel, and the Gear 2 Neo costs $200. Price below that would be insane.
Pretty awesome, man. I'm ready for it. The G Watch is like my pick for the next round of smartwatches, and
I
I'm
can't
hyped.
believe you would pick the G Watch over the Moto 360.
I like the square. I'm not a big fan. I'm no. I'm not a big fan of like the circle thing. Maybe some outfits if I'm wearing my suit or something, then yeah. But the square, just like it. It looks cool. It's very simple, very minimal. It's made of metal. And it's obviously it's going to be cheaper. I don't think it's going to be that much cheaper than the Moto
Is the G
360.
Watch made of metal though? I mean, every time I've seen it, it looks like it's not nearly as premium as the 360.
They said it had like a metal construction on it. I think the top half is like plastic bezel or something maybe, but like, or glass, and then the bottom half is like the metal part. But um, LG mentioned like specifically that it had like some type of metal construction. So
I'm gonna
uh,
guess that it costs $200.
yeah, 199. 199 is exactly what I thought LG would be aiming for, and LG knows how to. I mean, they have the capacity, the business for making products on the cheap. Motorola, yeah, too, but the Motorola 360 is going to be like the premium one. That's their big premium smartwatch.
Yeah, I can see the 360 being between the 250 to 300 range.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
think I don't know. I think it'd be a pretty big mistake if they would charge over $300 for it.
I'm gonna say 360 right now. Mark my words. 279.99. 279.
279.99.
Mark
I
my
I
words.
think I would buy it at that price.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more. I would say $50 to maybe $100 more than a G Watch,
Yeah.
just because of the design. And then I think Motorola is saying something. They have some sort of killer feature that it's going to blow everyone's minds. Probably just
Yeah,
wireless
I don't know
charging.
about that. But yeah, the G Watch is going to be the cheaper, pretty much reference device for developers. So that should be cool.
Yeah.
We have a couple people going to I/O, so we will get it and do a review. Moving on to non-Android news, iOS 8 is going to have split-screen
Oh,
multitasking on the iPad. Some
I
people
read that.
discovered.
Hmm.
And it'll be half the screen, a quarter of the screen, and three-quarter of the screen sizes. So pretty much like what you can do in Windows 8, which is pretty handy, I must say, as a Windows 8 user. So that's going to be awesome.
That is pretty sweet. I don't know. I just can't figure. On a tablet, I think that's totally awesome. Like, and tablets need that to kind of take them out of or kind of compete with like a full desktop UI like Windows and all that. But on a phone, there's like you just have so much limited space, and then you have that stupid Google tool action bar, and then you have an action bar below that, and then you have like this much space to even look at stuff like on Google Plus, and you're like, well, I want to do two apps at the same time, and everything's so tiny. You can maybe watch half of a YouTube video cropped in half. I mean, it's like I don't know. I'm not too big on the whole side by side multitasking thing. No, I don't think iOS is going to be. I mean, the iPhone's not going to be like this huge phablet. Maybe I guess they're rumored to come with that phablet version or whatever, the 5.8 version. But on a phone, I think that's just pointless. I'd rather just do full screen multitasking and switching between apps like I do now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I really like it in Windows 8. It'll be weird to see with iOS apps because they're not really built to do that. So
I
that'll be
guess
interesting.
now they will be built to do just that.
Um,
Let's launch internationally at Google I/O.
Speaking of tablets, there's a patent this week that Samsung is making a tablet that can fold into a phone. Did you see this thing?
Oh yeah, they're bendable thing.
It's like a tablet, and then you fold it like a trifold wallet, and then it's the size of a phone, which would
Kind
be
of
pretty
awesome.
crazy and also probably really thick.
Kind of awesome. But I mean, there was aside from the Samsung thing, there was someone was showing off a bendable display, but one that could be bended. I think they just showed it like over 10,000 times or something. But they had this machine that just keeps bending it, bending it, bending it, bending it, bending it, and it can bend over 1,000 times. And they show where like you can fold it almost completely flat. So like these bendable displays, pretty flexible and pretty durable. So I mean that would be cool to have a little phone wallet, bust it out, and you open it up. I'm
I mean,
ready.
that's the ultimate futuristic device right there because, Asus has done the thing where, oh, you put your phone inside of a tablet and now you have one device. Well, okay, it's still two devices. You just put them inside each other. I mean, this literally would be one
Yeah.
device that can be a phone and tablet.
And we've seen like the idea before with the Kyocera something. What
Oh
was that? The
yeah.
Sprint one that folded open, which I thought was awesome, and it did multitasking. Great idea. Another great idea that
Except the
just
phone was terrible.
bombed. The specs weren't that great, and then there was this big, thick bezel right in
Yep.
between the two displays. So a lot of people kind of just dismissed it off and like whatever. But to me, I was sold on that phone. And then NEC did another version of that. We showed it off. We had hands on at some CES or Mobile World Congress way back in the day. But NEC had theirs too, which I was like, oh, this is so cool. Coolest thing ever. And I think that's like really, really awesome to have a phone that can just fold out into something bigger. But with bendable displays, now we can finally do that. You don't have the bulk. You're not going to have the bezels. Pretty awesome. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the little mod because obviously it's going to have a module connected to just a display that probably comes out and folds around and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work all the other hardware internals like the battery and camera and all that stuff. But I'm ready for this, man. I'm ready for the future of bendable displays.
All right, so let's run through these last few ones a little quicker. Tell me about this T-Mobile Underground thing.
T-Mobile launched this kind of a weird a site, I guess like a landing page on their online site, but T-Mobile Underground is what they're calling it. They just barely launched it last week, and they were saying it was kind of like didn't make much sense, and they didn't really expound like too many details, or whatever. But what they did tell you was that this is the T-Mobile Underground, and this is for bleeding edge tech enthusiasts that don't care what people think, and just weird stuff. And it's
John Laguerre wrote it himself.
yeah, I don't know who did or whatever, but it was just kind of like, okay, that's odd, kind of neat. I mean, it's just T-Mobile doing something different again, which we like, but it didn't really provide many details. And they said it was going to have exclusive devices and exclusive accessories that the rest of T-Mobile isn't ready for. like, like it's not for your mom and dad type of deal.
Oh
And
my
then the phone that they show off, of course, is just a gold Galaxy S5, and everyone's
Oh boy.
like, wait, is this what you're talking about? Like, not the Galaxy F, not the like One Plus, not some of these oddball different
One
smartphones.
plus.
Just a gold Gal like you get an exclusive color. Like I don't know what it means. Why are they doing it, or what else is going to show up on there?
What does it mean?
Right now they have what is it? The Galaxy Gears smartwatches on there and stuff. So to me, it just sounds like they're trying to be hip and cool, and it's just regular products that maybe are just kind of in limited quantity. Um,
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's probably what it is. But then now they're trying to like flip it, the marketing speak, and just make you sound like it's cool and it's intentional. But I guess we'll have to see what else pops up on the T-Mobile Underground later.
All right, and Google Glass update?
Yeah, there was a couple of updates since last week. So last week there was a 17.3 update, which added this really cool feature to whenever you get a new notification, you can just glance up at the screen, which is always kind of hovering above your face. It's like a picture-in-picture up in the corner. So whenever you just look now, the little sensor that they have in there that can track your eye movement. So whenever you look up after you've gotten a notification, the screen will come on. Pretty awesome, because before you would have to tilt your head up every time you got a new notification to view a notification. And I don't know if you've seen like the SNL skits and stuff. People are like, just
Yeah.
flipping their heads around, like all derping out. So this is cool. That's actually, but it's only an experimental feature and still kind of in beta, and they're testing it out. I've tried it, and so far it's working pretty accurately. And then yesterday, or the day before yesterday, there was the 18.1 update, which is kind of a major thing. But they updated the firmware. Well, it's rolling out this week, but updated the firmware and the My Glass app to coincide with this new update. But basically, whenever you snap a picture now, it shows up in your My Glass app on your smartphone. And if you want, you can just click it and share it, and it automatically beams it to your smartphone, and you can share it with Snapseed to edit. You can put it on Instagram, Facebook, do whatever you want with it, and write a cool little status update and stuff. So pretty awesome, because that's like the coolest feature with the Glass, is being able to snap a picture. And the only way to share it previously was if you shared it in Hangouts, Google Plus. I think there's Twitter and Facebook, but even then you couldn't actually attach. Like you can speak a status update with it, but it was all like clunky and weird, and then misspelled because they think you said one thing and then you said something else, and clunky and weird and annoying. But now this is really cool, because you can snap a picture of somebody and say, oh yeah, I'll just send it to you, and you can click share, email it off to them, boom, wham bam, thank you ma'am. So that's a really, really cool update, and it makes Glass a little bit better. Battery life still kind of sucks on it, and it's still running pretty slow, but nice little update.
All right. So wins and fails for the week. I have a dual win slash fail.
Duo?
It's kind of a win and a fail. So one story earlier this week was that Chili's, the restaurant, finished adding like tablets to tables in lieu of menus at like a lot of their locations. And apparently a lot of people in the comments have seen these already. I've never seen one personally. But I guess Applebee's and Buffalo Wild Wings are also doing this. And so the win section, I think this is really cool, because you can pay right from the tablet. There's like a credit card scanner right on it.
Ah.
So you don't have to wait for them to take your card over to the magical place where something happens and bring it back. And then you can also just, like, of course, order food right from there, just on a touchscreen. And you don't have to, like, tell the waitress or whatever.
That is awesome.
My fail part of it is that, I mean, I don't know. This was hotly debated in the comments, in whether or not it's actually removing jobs from the restaurant, because I guess a waitress still does have to bring the food to your table.
Yes.
So I guess it doesn't really remove their job, but I just feel like all this automation in restaurants is eventually going to
kill their tips.
A lot of jobs.
at the very least, kill their tips, because I can't.
Right, like why would you tip a waiter if you're like, well, all she did was carry my food over here?
Yeah, and I mean that's probably going to piss off a lot of people. I usually, the whole tip system and all that stuff always kind of is a very hotly debated subject in itself. But there's people, servers or whatever, waiters, waitresses, they're always just like blah blah blah. This is my livelihood and da 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 da, and the stuff we have to deal with, and it's like, well, that's kind of your job, right? Like you are getting paid hourly, and yeah, but we live off of tips, and I never really quite understood that.
That is true. Like waitresses and stuff is so lame. I mean, maybe this is different state by state, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty much a standard thing. But tips are factored into their hourly wage. So if you would just go strictly on what their hourly wage is, it's like below minimum wage, because they factor in that they're going to get tips. Yeah, for real. So I always tip waitresses well because of that, waitresses and waiters. But like if I go to Starbucks or something,
they have a little tip
I will rarely tip there, because unless it's like a really difficult drink to make, because most of the time, what are they doing? They're just walking over and sticking a cup over a thing, and there's your drink. Um, and they are getting paid minimum wage or more. So yeah, I
No,
mean
yeah.
tips are kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, they are, and it's weird. The whole automation thing. I mean, I get it. Like before this, you had your menu. They'd have to bring you your menu. They have to keep coming back and checking on you guys doing okay, blah blah blah. Is your food all right?
I hate that.
Do you need water? And your food's all in your mouth still. And keep checking back and I want to order something else, so let's wait for the waitress to come back, and then she comes back like,
Right.
you need anything else? Like, oh, can I order the dessert now? Blah blah blah. But now this is just all beep 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 beep. Like I wonder if they even have like a beacon, just boop, push it, and like the waitress will come to your table now. So it's just it takes a lot
Apparently, the
of.
Chili's one only does desserts and drinks right now.
Oh gosh.
Um,
So are they I guess they're purposely handicapping it right now so that you'll still tip your
right.
server as
I
well.
mean, it's not a real stretch to see how in a couple of years it's going to be the entire menu.
Yeah, another a firmware update. They're gonna get
Yeah.
ice cream sandwich or whatever they have on those
They are
tablets.
running Android. Yeah. Um, all right. So what do you got?
My wins and fails. I'm not gonna even. I don't really have a win. I'm gonna take that back. My win was gonna be that I saw John Laguerre at E3. I went to E3 a couple of days ago and sort of ran into John Laguerre. He was walking. He had his like entourage and his PR person. They were walking just outside like the convention center. And I was like, oh my God, it's John Laguerre.
John!
Or John Ledger, or whatever. I never know. I was gonna ask him in person, like, how do you say your last name, man? But he was just walking around his pink shirt. He's got his T-Mobile pink shirt. He had his bright pink chucks. Bright,
You
bright
should have yelled,
pink chucks.
John, you tweeted at me once.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when are you gonna come on a Mobile World podcast, man? When are you gonna come on, man? But yeah, I didn't have a chance. He seemed like he was busy and in a hurry. So that was cool. That's kind of my
Hey,
win.
man, he was just busy changing the world.
He was changing the world, man. He was going around, checking out the cell towers. But my fail is going to be the whole Starbucks thing. I think you wrote this article earlier today.
Yeah.
Starbucks, and we've kind of known this for a while. This was since like way back when, so it's a long time in the making. But the whole wireless charging standards. There's Power Matters Alliance, and you have the key stuff, which is Energizer, and this big long battle in the beginning. You saw these different standards and stuff, and people were trying to make cases for each and do all this weird. Pretty much Key won out because every new smartphone.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Chi.
Chi,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, totally. Key, the American way, man. California pronunciation. Key. The Chi one won out because every new smartphone has that built into it now. So Starbucks, which I guess just finally added all this wireless charging. A long time ago, they powered up. They teamed up with the Power Matters Alliance people. So now all their stores, or a lot of their stores, are going to have the wireless charging built into like the tables and stuff, which is really cool. But it's the Power Matters Alliance stuff, which isn't compatible with the Key wireless charging standard.
Yeah.
So completely pointless, completely dumb. And Power Matters Alliance, they have these, accessories that you can attach to your phone. You have this dongle with a big old freaking circle sticking out of it. So like, oh, I can sit my whatever. Let me pull out my big ass dongle, shove it in my phone, and charge my phone.
Which you have to buy, by the way.
Yeah, and you got to buy that, and that's just stupid and really dumb. And really, this is just like, it's kind of, it's putting like a divide between Android users, which are the only people that have wireless charging right now.
Windows Phone has Qi too.
Or Windows Phone, yeah. And then iPhone people, which don't have anything. They just have an iPhone, they don't have NFC, they don't got wireless charging, you got nothing on your iPhone. But I guess with the Power Matters Alliance dongles and all that stuff, you can plug it in. So really, Starbucks is kind of just catering to these iPhone users that may or may not have these wireless charging dongles, which, let's be real, like maybe 1% of iPhone users will probably even carry that dongle.
I have to imagine Starbucks are going to start selling them.
Oh, yeah, probably just have them in their little accessory stand things. Yeah, you're right. That would be interesting. But
I mean, is there a single phone on the market that has PMA charging built in?
It's funny because when you wrote that article, there was something the other day. There's some new, what phone was it? It's like driving me nuts now that I can't remember. Some new smartphone that came out. It was one of those Chinese ones or something. can't remember which one, but it had wireless charging, and I looked in the fine print and stuff all over the specs, and then it mentioned power PMA wireless charging, and I was, oh my gosh, what a fail. nobody nobody has, like, you're not gonna even.
Well, the thing with PMA is, I know I know AT&T is a partner of PMA. So like, I talked about this on the podcast before. I had the Lumia 925, and that did not come with wireless charging in it, but you could easily like hack it in. It was like AT&T kind of stripped it, and then there was another Lumia phone that had it removed where it was like the international version had Qi wireless start charging, but the AT&T one didn't, and they sold a PMA case that you could put on it, like really just really crappy AT&T stuff. But yeah,
Mm-mm. Horrible. I'm not gonna say I want, Power Matters Alliance, like that whole, company and the consortium and all that stuff, just to kind of fail, but really we don't need two wireless charging standards, and it makes things really complicated for consumers and whatever, and it's just, we need to pick one, we need to pick the one that everyone's using, and we just need to stick to it, really. Like, that's
yeah.
that's all there is to it. But maybe Power Matters Alliance can focus on other stuff as to maybe not mobile devices. There was at a CES or something a long time ago, they had those wireless charging things that's, built into your car, and you can park your car in a garage. It has a big old wireless charging pad and wirelessly charge your car and all that. That's Maybe they could focus on some of that stuff. But
I would love to know. I would love to be in the Starbucks and Power Mat meeting. Like, do they know something that we don't know? Because what is the selling point? Okay, literally no phones have this built in. But you should start putting it in all your tables.
yeah,
I mean, is the iPhone going to get this or something? Like, do we not
that's
know? I
honestly,
mean,
I would not be surprised. Like, that would just not surprise me one freaking bit. That if Apple did choose to go with Power Matters, and then all their wireless charging accessories aren't going to work with your crappy Android wireless charging accessories, like, get that out of here. This is iPhone. We use different technology, and then somehow try to market it as superior wireless charging or something. But I don't know. We'll see. Um, Annoying. But my other fail, two fails. So that was just
oh
one fail.
wow,
Yeah.
failure week.
My HTC One M8, which I've been using primarily, I was letting my girlfriend use it for a long time, and now I just switched back because I got all pissed off because she scratched up the camera lens on the back. When I saw it, I was just like, "What the hell did you do to my phone?" And I got it back, and I was going through HTC to get, a product, what is it, an RMA, and get it replaced through them. And I find out that it's not really scratched. There's this weird film that's on all the lenses, on the front-facing lens, the duo lens, and the main camera lens. They have this weird film that Sony actually puts on a lot of their camera LCD display things, and it's all scratched up. But if you look at it in the sunlight, it's got this purpleness to it. So if you go online, you can find countless threads of people saying their HTC One M8, lens is all scratched up and all this other madness. But then I found out that it's a weird film, and you can actually remove it by a little Windex and using one of those Mr. Clean Magic erasers. I guess you could just use a regular sponge or something too, but you just keep rubbing it, and maybe after like 30 seconds to a minute, that film comes off, and your camera is beautiful and brand new, no scratches or anything. So normally I wouldn't care if it was just like cosmetic scratches or something. It didn't actually affect camera quality, but it did, and out of nowhere, my camera pictures were all blurry and weird, and I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. I was hoping it wasn't like a hardware thing. Come to find out that they use this weird film, so I'll probably write a post on it and like how to fix it in the coming days. But that's also my fail. But I'm just glad that I fixed it and don't have to send my phone in. So
Cool. All right. So I actually have a couple app unpicks, I'm gonna call them, and a couple real picks. So earlier this week, Candy Crush Saga got a sequel, and it's called Candy Crush Soda
Soda. What is it?
And
Is it Soda Saga?
yeah, I'm just gonna say don't download this game because it's gonna ruin your life, and it'll cause you to buy in-app purchases and all that stuff. Just avoid it. Just avoid it. And the other one is Angry Birds Epic, which is Angry
Woo!
Rovio's new RPG game.
I downloaded it
And
already. Too late.
like Angry Birds Go, it has so many dang in-app purchases in it.
Already downloaded it, man.
I'm sure it's a fun game, but yeah, I hate that.
The
Um,
in-app purchases stuff.
so my actual good picks, there's two that I thought were cool this week. One of them is called Wake Up, and it unlocks your phone when you pick it up and like hold it at a certain angle. So you pick it off the table and you like hold it in front of your face at a certain angle, and it would just unlock it. The screen will come on automatically, which is pretty neat. It doesn't require a root or anything.
So you pick up your phone
Yeah.
and
So it has to be sitting on a surface like still for it to work, and then you pick it up, and there's a certain angle that it needs to hit, and then it's called Wake Up. And then there's this other one called Vibify, and this is kind of a similar thing. You have to pick up your phone, and it will give you a little vibrate if there's something important that needs your attention. So, for an example, you could set it up so if you have like a missed call or a missed Google Hangout message, and then you lift up your phone, it will just give you a little buzz in your hand and be like, "Hey, there's something that you should check out." And it won't do that if you have something that you don't care about. So like, okay, you have some Facebook comments and some Twitter replies that aren't urgent. It won't give you a buzz for those if you have it set up like that. Kind of neat if you just wanted to, pick up your phone real quick and, get a sense of, do I need to turn my screen on and take action on anything?
yeah, sounds neat.
So what's yours?
That's cool. Oh, my epic. SwiftKey. SwiftKey is now free.
Oh yes.
So crazy. I think normally it was like $3.99 or something, and probably one of the best third-party app, replacements. So crazy that they went free. I can't believe it. I've been trying, to get my parents to download it, and my girlfriend, like, you got to try out SwiftKey. Like, I ain't gonna pay no $3-4. Like, man, whatever. Now it's free, so now there's no excuses. But now the way I guess they're generating revenue is going to be through themes, and they have different theme packs, and some of them are actually pretty nice and snazzy. Theme packs are like 5. You can either download one theme for $1, or it's like a pack of 5 for $3 or something like that. So, pretty cool. And some of the themes are awesome, and I might actually pay money for them. But I already paid for SwiftKey, so not really too excited to be paying a little extra money for some themes. But
did you get the 10 free themes for already paying for it?
If you already did pay for it, SwiftKey is giving you a pack of like 10 different themes for free, which is a nice little, I guess, a nod to those that already purchased it. But of course, there's still some people that are pissed off because I don't want no themes, and now you're going free. Well, I want my money back, and they're just all pissed off and angry like always. But it doesn't really bother me because I've been using SwiftKey. I paid for it back like on a G1. That was a long time ago, so I don't really care. That's 2 years ago. $4 served me well.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah, and doesn't really bother me. Now that they went free and they're doing a different, model, business model, doesn't really bother me. So SwiftKey's free. Everyone should download it.
Yeah, I just downloaded it on my Nexus 5.
How do you?
I've always heard good things about it, so been using it for a couple days.
Has it been working well for you?
So. I'm not having much luck with the sliding keyboard.
The sliding is not good, and I think that's still a way they can, make it better. But one thing that you should totally do, I don't know how often you use emojis or whatever, but there's an option in advance to enable predictions for emojis. So I use them all the time now.
Does it really do that?
Yeah, so now when you type in like sad, a little sad happy face will pop up. You're like, oh shoot, and you just press it like right there. It's like in your head.
That's funny that you say that because my wife, that sounds weird to say.
I think
her Android phone broke, and I gave her my Lumia 925 to use, and that has Windows Phone 8.1 on it, and the keyboard for that actually does the same thing.
Oh, it predicts emojis.
Yeah, so like if you write, cat, it'll throw up a little emoji of a cat, and like it's really cool. So I'm
Yeah.
totally gonna enable that.
Yeah, Nabil, I don't know why it's not on there by default, but I was using the betas forever for the past like couple of months now, and they were using the emojis on the betas, and I was like, this is just so freaking amazing. And now that it finally came to the full release version and it's free, like it's just. But also another thing, another pro tip, I guess, there's two different ways of using SwiftKey. So there's the one where whenever you press the space bar, it'll insert the prediction. So you can sometimes it'll somehow know what you're thinking, and you can just keep pressing spacebar, and you can literally make an entire sentence just by pressing the spacebar.
Do you have
Um,
to enable that?
yeah, it's in the settings, and it's like it's in one of the settings, and it says what do you want to do when you press the spacebar, and you can have it finish or autocorrect, or you can have it insert
Oh,
a
I see
prediction
it.
always. If you have it insert a prediction always, of course you can't use the double tap spacebar to insert a period, which I like to do. So I don't really use it, but sometimes it was fun for a while to use it because those predictions are sometimes just like right on the money. So you can just boop, 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 just put out an entire sentence practically just by pressing the spacebar, and you don't have to actually reach up and tap on the prediction. So it's pretty neat. And that's kind of that's actually what put SwiftKey on the map with their whole prediction engine, was that every time you press spacebar, it would insert the prediction.
Right.
So might want to try it out.
All right. I think that's gonna wrap us up for this week. Thanks
Yep.
everybody for watching. We should be back to full strength next week, I think, unless
No
something
more
else comes
events.
up.
No more events.
Yeah. So you can get in touch with us with the hashtag MobileRoar on Twitter, or you can email us podcast@mobileroar.com, and we are always willing to read those questions or comments to on the air. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and the Windows Phone Store. If you do that, leave us a review. Tell us what you think. And you can follow us on Twitter. Chris is at GamerCore. Kevin is at You Don't Know Kev. And I am at Tall Schmo. And we will be back next week. See you later, guys.